Alright everybody, so it's Wednesday, and like I said last week, we wear white on Wednesday now. I don't have my Moon Knight merch in, it's ordered, but I would think it would be here by next week. So hopefully I'm wearing a Moon Knight t-shirt next week. So episode 2 of Moon Knight dropped today. It's called Summon the Suit. If you've seen the episode, you would totally know why that's why it's called. So it takes place like pretty much right after the first episode, I would think, like, and Steven's just like, what's going on, you know, like after becoming Moon Knight. And I would say the synopsis of this episode is really him trying to keep Mark contained. And Mark is like trying, like they do a lot of talking in this one. He's also trying to figure out who Mark is. He's trying to figure out who Mark is, and he's trying to keep him contained. Like, that's what he's doing in this episode. I don't know if it was better than the first episode, but there's definitely more action, and the action was epic. You'll know because of the thumbnail, but Mr. Knight makes his debut in this one, which is really cool. I've read like 2 Moon Knight comics in my life, and Mr. Knight was not in either one of them. So I don't really know a lot about him other than he looks really cool. And now I know that he is like Steven's version of Moon Knight, kind of. Also, I'd like to appreciate that they keep pointing out that his name is Steven with a V. He even like sang it in this episode or something. I don't remember how it went, but he like used it as a lyric, and I was like, yes. Spoiler alert now, because I'm going to talk about more things actually in the episode. 1, we get to meet his wife, Mark's wife. I think her name was like Layla, I can't remember what it was at the moment, but she doesn't know who Steven is. She knows who Mark is, so that's also a big like plot point. She like thinks he's joking, but Steven really has no idea who she is, and she's like, no, drop the act, drop this bridge act. Also, you learn that she is so good at what she does that she is Khonshu's like next target for his next avatar. Like right now it's Mark, but he's like, once we're done, she's mine. So Mark's like trying to keep that from happening. We also learn that Arthur was Khonshu's avatar before Mark. And while we're talking about Arthur, I gotta talk about how good Ethan Hawke was in this episode. There's a whole scene, not really a scene, a whole like arc part where Arthur takes Steven to like where they stay, kind of shows them what they do, and that whole, like, I don't know, that whole part, I was just like totally in. I'm like, dude, this is so good. Ethan Hawke is selling it. We learned that his cane is what he uses to summon the jackals and stuff, and it's like has something to do with, man, I'm learning all these gods' names. What's it, is it like Amit? She's apparently a crocodile. I don't know. There's been a picture of her I haven't seen, and there's just like this real like debate where he's like, Khonshu, you know, he takes vengeance on the people that have already done wrong. By the time you're taking vengeance on them, it's too late. Some of what they've done. And he's like, Amit, she like, you know, takes care of people before that happens. And you're like, that kind of makes sense. But then Steven's like, yeah, but what about like children? It's like, if the child, and she just knows that this child's gonna mess up somewhere in the future and do something bad, and it's like, you're gonna kill the child? Steven's like, no, I draw the line there. And then at that point you're like, yep, that makes sense. So it's like, there's actually like this like, good point type thing. It ultimately ends with Steven becoming Mr. Knight and having to fight a jackal. And I guess when you had the suit on, he has special abilities. Like, he grabbed a car bumper and just crunched it. He landed a pretty good blow on the jackal, but he's not a fighter, so he's still getting kind of just like thrown around. He eventually surrenders it to Mark and becomes Moon Knight, and that was so cool. So much of like jumping from building to building, slow motion jumps, kicks. You get to see the moon rings in action. It's actually a lot like the Batman, how it's like the chest piece comes out. Like, I would say I probably had more fun in this episode, but I kind of feel like the first episode was like written and everything better. really great introduction. It's hard for me to like come up with Easter eggs because, like, as you've probably read, this show doesn't lean on past MCU stuff like at all. I'm sure Eric Voss can find them. I actually need to watch his breakdowns, and I haven't got to do it yet. So y'all can be on the lookout for those, because I will eventually. So if there's something I left out, something really important, reach out to me in the comments and I'll tell you what I thought about it. I really like Khonshu, I forgot to say that, but he is awesome. The voice is awesome. I don't know who plays him, but it's awesome. So yeah, leave a like, subscribe, check out last week's review, and I'll see you next time.